Okay, guys, welcome. I am Egas. I'm your host. So today we'll be looking at Photoshop and we'll be learning how to do a flyer design, a program design on Photoshop. So when you open your Photoshop on your system, you're going to have something very similar to what I have here, but depending on the version of Photoshop you're going to use it, you're going to be using. Me, I'm using the version 2017 of the Creative Cloud. So when you open your Photoshop, definitely you are not going to see this. These are the files, the comps I got set up for this design. So you will know how I just open them down so that it will be easy for me to locate them all. You won't have this here, the layers that is already selected. So let's go over, but every other thing will be the same. So let's go over Photoshop entirely. So firstly, we have this toolbar and it contains your tools that you're going to be using for your design in Photoshop. Now we have the move tool. The move tool you can use for moving objects around, you can use for picking objects, you can use for selecting objects. When I say select, well, let's move that word select because I'll use that very soon again. So you just use to pick objects and move objects, basically. So now we have the next tool, which is the marquee tool. The marquee tool is used to select. Now, the term select in Photoshop has a very, very important meaning of which we are going to discuss when we are designing, and you will see the use of it. So we also have another selection tool. Maybe I've established that picking is different from selection. So there's another selection tool called the lasso tool. Now this allows you, this before we select rectangularly, but this will allow you to draw what you want to select. So that's how it works. So now you notice that there are some small arrows by these tools. Now if you hold down on the tool, it will give you access to more tools. So you see under this polygonal lasso tool, we have magnetic there, so we have lasso tool. So I like leaving it at the polygonal because that's what I mostly use for my workflow. Under the rectangular marquee tool, you see the circular, the single row, the single column. So it just depends on what your workflow looks like. Now we have the magic wand tool. It's also a selection tool. It's very important for select when you want to do some easy cleanups. Maybe you have a white background you want to quickly eliminate. You just use that tool to select the white background. It selects and then press delete, and that's all. You eliminate that white background. So it's very easy. What it does is it selects all the pixels that are white and deletes it away from that picture. That's in the case of that white background. So if you have a black background, or any case, you can even select someone's skin. You want to remove the brown patch, or you want to select a brown patch, or you want, there's a whole lot of things you can do with your magic wand tool. So we have our crop tool, we have the eyedropper tool. Eyedropper tool is very important to select a color. So I may just do a basic example here. Let's use this eyedropper tool to select this blue. You watch what will happen to this color over here. Now selected, you see the color has changed. So it's used to select a color. You can select a color or any pixel. Next we have the spot healing brush. This is used for photo editing where you're editing maybe a portrait of a person and you want to remove spots from the person's face. Very effective tool for that. Remember, there are many other tools within that. You have a red eye tool, content aware move tool, patch tool, healing brush tool, and then the spot healing brush tool. We have the brush tool itself, which is used for making brush strokes. We have the clone stamp tool, which is used for cloning. So maybe you want to recreate. It's mostly used for photo editing. So maybe you want to. You have someone has a scar on the face. Instead of finding a way to smudge that scar or blur that scar, you can easily replace somewhere else on the skin that looks similar colored to that point and just replace it. So you clone a clear part of the skin with the bad scar. So that's what you use that tool for. You just use the clone. Also, we have the history brush tool. More on this later. We have the eraser tool. For erasing, obviously, we have the gradient tool. When you want to do a gradient, you can see a gradient here. This is a gradient from dark blue to some light blue over here. So that's a gradient. You can use gradient tool to do things like that. So we have the blur tool. We have the dodge tool. Blur to blur. Dodge, obviously, to dodge. There are still many other tools under this that you can always check out. Burn, sponge, and you have sharpen and smudge. So then this is the pen tool. Pen tool is very important when you are doing vector works. I know you would say, oh, vector is mostly for Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Illustrator, but Photoshop is still capable of doing some vectors, and you can use this tool. Anything you do with this tool is going to come out as a vector. And a vector means a shape or diagram that you have drawn, and you can scale it to any scale you want. You can scale it to times 500 and it will not lose quality. So it's very important for some jobs that you have this kind of tools in case of the scale you are going to be using the prints. Now we have our type tool, the horizontal type tool. You can have vertical type tool and that tool is there. So it's used for typing, obviously. We have the path selection tool, or direct selection tool. It's used for selecting, maybe you have drawn a path with your pen tool, you can use it to select and edit that path. You have your rectangle tool. If you open this, there are other shapes around the rectangle, ellipse, polygonal tool to draw polygons. You can even draw a star from the polygons. Line tool to draw lines, and then custom shape tools. Photoshop comes with a lot of custom shapes that you can choose from. So there's a whole wealth of shapes you can choose from here. Then we have the hand tool, the zoom tool, customize the toolbar, and then you have your colors. The front color is the foreground color, and then the back color is the background color. So you can easily swap these colors by pressing X. If you press X, they swap. So that's a shortcut for you to know. So you have this top bar here. You see, if you notice, for everything I clicked since it was changing, it's a responsive bar. So now because we're in the custom shape tool, you see it activates that toolbar to work with this custom shape. So if you click the move tool, you see it changes accordingly to whatever tool you are using. So it's very responsive. You get to see more of this later. So let's come over to the panels we have here. So these are panels. We call these panels. This is a panel and this is a panel. So I have two panels here, or two sets of panels. Now this first one you are seeing gives more properties for me. It makes my workflow easier. Like if I select my text tool, or I will need to select my text tool to be able to access things like this. That is the font size, the weight of the font itself. But if you have this over here, you just click it. It makes it easier for you. Like you can easily edit things from here, and it works. It's better for your eyes. Your eyes don't have to start jumping around, going to the top to go and always select. So it's just within range of what you always be doing. So that makes it easy for me. I even centrally placed it because I always work with typography. Typography is an essential part of my designs. So that's just one tool over there. We have glyphs, we have notes, we have 3D, we have the brush tool. This is very important also. Some serious dynamics for brush. Maybe you want to do a scatter brush or maybe a basic circular brush. You can do a whole lot of crazy things from your brush panel here. And you have your info, you have your properties. Properties, maybe when you draw a shape, you see the properties of the shape here, and you can have some level of control from this panel. Then moving on to the next panel, the next set of panels, we have the color panel and the adjustment, layers, and the rest. So now I like putting this as swatches, though you can always go to color, but then you can always come here to just double click and then you also have the same color. So I like leaving it as swatches because it gives me access to the previous colors I've used before the design. You see, because I selected this color earlier, you see it updates that, oh, this was the last color you used. So these are the colors I've been using since. Quite boring. But anyways, another feature is it gives you the name of the color. So if you leave it on the color, it should give the name 45% gray, light pea green. So it's a nice feature. It's a cool feature to have. So the next we'll have our adjustments. Now adjustments are used to adjust pictures. Basically, you can also use this for photo editing or to manipulate photos. You have brightness and contrast, levels, curves, exposure, vibrance, and the likes. So there is a whole lot of tools to play with around here. I think there's nothing really much in libraries for now. So layers, which is the most important part of Photoshop. Everything you import into Photoshop, everything you are seeing is a layer. If you type text, it creates a new layer. If you draw a shape, it creates a new layer. So you have to learn how to utilize your layer and manage it properly for your designs to come out properly, clean, and nice. So under layer, you see we have kind. These are filters. You can filter your layer by kind, name, effect, and the likes. Now, other if you select this, is responsive. Obviously, you set kind, so you can select the kind of things you want to see. Maybe now you see we only have a picture layer, pixel layer, so we can't really see the effect. But if I want to, see, I have maybe 20 layers down there, and I have 3 text layer, but finding it is difficult. I can just filter by text, click text, and it will bring out just the text layers available for me. So you can see by name, see changes here. So just depends on what you want. So we have blend modes. So it's currently default at normal. More on this later. I'll be using a blend mode. Using blend mode in this design. Um, Opacity, that's to reduce the transparency or to increase the transparency. Default at 100. So fill, also the hues in the picture. That's the fill. So you can reduce it. You can also increase it. Then you can lock a layer. So you select a layer. You can lock it totally. You can lock it from moving. You can lock the pixels. There's a whole lot of things you can actually do here. And then obviously the list of layers is going to be present here. So now you have some other settings here. You have some effects. You have that's a layer style. You have mask to add a mask. You have adjustment layer, more like this adjustment you saw earlier. Then you have a group to group your layers, and then to create a new layer, and then to delete a layer. You can right click on layers, and then there's a whole lot of options that also comes out. So there's a whole lot. It's a very, very robust software. So other than that, we have channels. Channels are for people that are into printing. And you can see we have the color separation already done for us here. So you can see the reds, the green, and the blue. So when you are doing your press printing, it's very easy to separate do your color separation right from Photoshop. Then we have paths. Paths is when you use your pen tool to draw, you would see the paths here. And you can work on the path, you can select paths, you can create new paths. It's just like layers, but layers contains everything. But paths are basically for vectors, what you have drawn using your pen tool. So that's that for that. So obviously up here we have some tools, Photoshop itself, to edit the settings, file, edit, image, layer, type, select, filter, 3D view, windows, and likes. So you will get to use most of this. I'm sure you are going to be doing some playing around on your own, so I'll leave that to you. I'm using the Mac version of the software. In case you haven't noticed, you might be using the Windows version, the PC version, so that's totally up to you. It's going to be very, very similar experience. I believe so. So let's go ahead and work on the design. So welcome back once again. So let's go over the design. So I'm going to just populate. I'm just going to populate my Photoshop with these windows. So I'm just going to add all these to layers so they all come out, and I don't have to be doing this drag and drop always. So okay, so there we have it. So I saw this design while going through my social media, and it struck me. When I say it struck me, I think you need to also brace yourself because it's going to strike you. I was like, what? It was something else. So it came to me and I was like, okay, since you are going to do a video on fire design, why don't just redesign this? Let's make it look good. And so I thought of, okay, so good, I'm going to be doing that live. So here we have it. Prepare yourself. Whoa! What is this? Well, credits to the designer at least. Let's try and be professional here. Okay, so stuck in lockdown. It's supposed to be a program, a class, and just like this masterclass we're having now, but the design is something else. Come on. So I wondered. I was like, why? Why this? And I was trying to read it. I didn't even understand what they meant by this. I could only read. I was like, okay. I had to check the copy or the caption of what followed the picture, and then I saw this was SW hyphen Demi. So that should be the name of the company or something, or the name of the program. I'm sure that's it. But it's very ineligible. And then Telegram Masterclass. So basically, this design lacks what I call white space. White space is what allows your design breathe. The design looks so crowded, and my eyes is jumping everywhere. My eyes is going here, is going here. There is no flow. As a designer, you're supposed to direct your audience. You are trying to convey an information to an audience, and you do that by using some skills, some principles of design, like value. You use principles of value, principles of contrast, principle of size to direct the flow of the vision of your audience. But this is not happening here. My eyes are bouncing all over the place. But anyways, we are going to fix this. So stay tuned. There's a whole lot that's going to go on. We're going to redesign this. I don't know if I'm going to pick anything from here. I might pick some things. I'm seeing a Bitcoin. I think this is like a Bitcoin image. That's why I got one. I downloaded a Bitcoin image before now. This guy's hand. I don't know. Some Bitcoins are appearing from his hand, but I don't think I need that. And I got the Bitcoin logo too. So I think those are the only stocks, and I got some backgrounds. So let's proceed over to the design and let's get working. So firstly on Photoshop, you can just go to File, New to create a new layer. This is an A5 size, so we'll just do New, and we're going to create a new layer. So obviously you see, I'll have a whole lot of items here from the recent sizes I've worked with. So you might not see this depending on what you have or how many you have worked with before. So we are working on a print and we are working on A5. So they have defaults here. We're just going to select that. So what I'm going to do is I can leave this resolution at 300 or I can boost it a bit. I'll advise you leave it at 300 because most printers you are going to be using if you are printing the design are going to be working with 300 as a resolution. So I don't feel there is any need for you to really change that to work with that. So let's leave that at 300 pixels per inch. So I've already arranged everything for you. So color mode RGB. I like working with RGB on Photoshop. It's more true to what I'm saying. You should leave the color at 8 bits. You can go to 16 bits obviously for better color gamut, for better range. 32 bits obviously so massive, but the only problem is the exporting. When you're exporting a file, maybe you're going to export in JPEG formats, it becomes a problem exporting in some of those bit images. Sometimes you can also want to try and save in a GIF format. It's totally impossible to do that in 16 bits, in 30 bits. So because of more options, I just work with 8 bits. So background content, you can change that. Me, I will just leave that white. You can make the background color black, white. You can always change these things later, so you can leave that. Advanced options, color profile. I think you should leave this also as normal. So we'll go ahead and click create, and we're ready to go. So this is a blank A4 sheet staring right there at us. We are going to populate this to our design elements, and obviously we'll hope to do something better than what we have over there. So I'm stuck in lockdown. SW Telegram Masterclass, learn about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin exchange trading. Okay, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin exchange trading. Okay, makes sense. ICO and IEO. I don't know the meaning of this, but anyways, I think maybe it's the heading for these would incorporate all those. Will incorporate all those. So If I don't use everything, I can just pick some few elements. Remember, we are trying to convey an information. Always remember that it's an information you're trying to convey. So it's you have to do it as cleanly as possible, as precisely as possible. So I have some background here. I have this I might not say background, just some shapes to just give it a background or something. So I'm gonna use this one. I got this from FreePick, so please you can go ahead to go to freepick.com and get lots of design resources from there. And there are many free resources. You can also subscribe for the premium plan. So get that. You can use any other background. You can search for things like abstract backgrounds, low poly backgrounds, geometric backgrounds, something like that. You definitely get something interesting to use for your design. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to do a Control A to select all. I'm going to do a Control C to copy. So I've done those two commands right there. I'm going to my own title. I'm going to paste it. Now this file is very large. You can see this is just 3%. So it's going to come out very large here. So this is at 25%. So let's paste it. V, it looks like it's not there, but it's there. Now there's a command called Control T to transform. I just press the Control T, you see it activated this. So I can actually reduce it so you can see it inside the image. So before I do that, I'll zoom down. To zoom down, you just press Control minus or Command minus. So you see how large that is. That's because it was a vector art and I exported it in a very high resolution. So there we have it. I can zoom back up. To zoom back up, use Control plus or Command plus, depending on what we are using. Command for the Apple users, the MacBook users, and Control for our PC users. So I'm just going to leave it somewhere around here. Let's give it a cut. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Seems pretty basic enough for me. Command T. I can drag it in a bit. Okay, somewhere around there. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. So I like that. Bring it out a bit. Okay. So just some micro adjustments. Good. I like that. So let's go ahead. So it was SW Demi Masterclass. Let me go over that and confirm. Yes. SW Demi Telegram Masterclass. Okay, so something is wrong here. Telegram Masterclass. This sounds like they are teaching Telegram, but that does not make sense. So why don't we do SW Demi Cryptocurrency Masterclass or Bitcoin Masterclass? I think Bitcoin is more catchy. When people say Bitcoin these days, they are interested. So let's use Bitcoin. Remember, we're trying to pass a message. So SWDME Bitcoin Masterclass. We can always add cryptocurrency to the other information, but we need something to draw the audience in on the design. It's a visual design. So let's do SWDME Bitcoin Masterclass. So let's go ahead to that. SW. Oh, it's a very awful color, but anyways, SW hyphen Demi. I don't like capital letters all through. That's cap locks. I like playing with the small letters a lot in my design. So I'm not going to make that all caps. I can make the Bitcoin all caps, BITCOIN. And Masterclass. Okay, let's make that all caps too. So that makes sense. They look very small. We can always increase the size. So now we've selected that. If you go back to your text tool, you can adjust the size from here to 48. Let's say that. Okay, it looks all modeled for me. Good thing. So we'll get to learn more. So I like editing it from here. So in case you don't have that, you go to your text, and if you click this, it comes up. So that's another way you can do that. So firstly, I don't like this font. I'm looking at okay. Let me do Cable. I'm feeling like doing Cable for this design. Okay, so Cable works for me. Cable Ultra is what I'm using for a start. Then we're going to adjust this. This is what I call the leading. Yes, the leading. So watch as I increase. So we have size 48. So let's just give it 48 first. We'll definitely need to increase it again. So okay, 48 makes sense. Looks good. So I'll just take it in a bit to 46. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to change some of the fonts. Okay, let's select all commands A and then give it black color. Let's do black for a start. So that we can see what we are doing properly. That color is distracting me. So I don't want this to be all the same font. So let's play a bit. So I'm going to use cable again, so that it stays consistent. But I'm going to drop the thickness, so we can do something like cable medium or cable book. So let's check both of them. We have cable medium, we have cable book. I'm feeling cable medium the more, so I'm going to use cable medium. And then the Masterclass, I want to leave it. Let's see how it looks like a medium. Okay, let's leave it ultra. Then we are going to reduce the font so everything stays, 45. We're going to reduce the font so everything stays at almost the same good, so it aligns. I want something like that effect. So there you have that. You can manually type in the figures, or you can always drag. What I'm doing currently is just dragging. Notice how I go over it. I just drag. So you have such controls, which is nice. So there we have it. So I'll just reduce the leading of this a bit so it comes closer. It becomes a member of the group. Remember, one very key element of design is space. There's a way you space things as a designer, and then it looks grouped in the sense of the user, and that is quite important. So you can drag the audience along. You can group it. You don't need to start explaining the design, so it just works. So I like that. I like working in black and white for some reasons. I don't know why. I can start showing the colors. The truth is that whatever looks good in black and white will look lovely in colors. So I'm going to type basically almost everything in black and white and then throw in some colors later. So let's go ahead and do the typing. I would have typed this before starting this video. Wow. Okay, so let's do a copy. So I'm just going to duplicate this image. Duplicate. Now it's a smart object because the way I imported it, I just dragged it and dropped it into Photoshop, so it will come in as a smart object. So in case you do that, if you drag and drop it, it comes in as a smart object. So I'm going to right click and rasterize it. So rasterize, I turn it into a raster graphics. Raster graphics means that it's now pixelized. You can edit. It's not vector. Vector, remember, you can scale vector without losing quality. But a raster image is the opposite of a vector. If you zoom a raster image, you lose quality. That's basically that definition. So I'm going to do Command A again. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it on here. Good. So that's very large. Minus. Okay, I exported it there at 500 dpi. So we have that. Plus. So what I'm just trying to do, I'm just trying to reduce the opacity so that I want to just see what I'm typing, basically, because I have to type everything. So learn about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. That makes sense. So just type that in. Learn. I don't like capital letters, so let's do. What about we do featuring? Featuring. We can always change to capital locks later. if we like, if you want to change to capital letter later. So we have featuring cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, right? So featuring cryptocurrency trading, then okay, exchange. This is confusing. Cryptocurrency trading, exchange trading. Okay. Obviously, if this is a client, we'll be able to discuss and say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. So this is something off the bat. So let me do the last typing. I can reduce the font so everything can stay in the screen. So ICO and ECO, or rather IEO. IEO. Let's reduce the leading. So we have blockchain technology, how to store and earn cryptocurrency. Okay, you see, that's supposed to be, boy, they have the bullet points was not supposed to be in that place. It's not supposed to be in that location. So, sorry, I'm gonna escape that. How to store and earn cryptocurrency. We have the next, how to earn free cryptocurrency. Through MLM network. Okay, so let's break it into two lines. Through MLM network. So I think that's basically all that needs to be typed. Okay, I'm seeing a Telegram link over there. So we can write join us on Telegram. I'll put the link over there. What I always advise is most times if you are printing your design, try and generate a QR code for your links so people can easily scan with their smartphones. That makes life easier these days. So the Telegram link is t.me/ that's the real demo Bitcoin trade class. Okay, so I think we have everything that we are typing already. The other things we just want to have a basic idea. So featuring cryptocurrency. So let's reduce this obviously. The font, I don't like that font. Okay, so this is good. Okay, we can obviously use another font. So I like Aveni for this. It has this cryptic look and it has this straight tall look and it speaks tech. So I like it. Let's do that. So that's that. Okay, so I was just thinking of the fonts. Let's let's reduce the thickness a bit. So we can use cable medium, and then what we want to emphasize, we can always bold it so it makes a statement. So that is bold. I can reduce this to not be bold anymore. So Good. So there's less emphasis on that, and we can always reduce the size. Good. And then this, I can move the bold to increase the size a bit. So I want everything to just have this clean, uncluttered look. So 8.5. Okay, so that aligns properly. So I like what I see. This Bitcoin is not as punchy as I want it. Okay, so good. I will just go ahead and use this bold. Lovely. Exactly what I'm looking for. So I can even put in my bold here. Lovely. I can make this all the way 29. Just some little micro adjustments. Good. So what I can do is, if I don't want that to compete with the Bitcoin, so I can give it some tracking, or we'll call it kerning. I think tracking is more important. Tracking is the right word. So let's give it some tracking, not too much. Okay, so that makes sense. And then we can increase the size so it doesn't compete too much with the Bitcoin. So I'm going to do 41.5. So that makes sense to me. I like what I see. That looks good. That looks lovely. So I'll just increase it a bit. Control T, remember to increase. Control T to transform, then you can drag it and increase everything together. So I'm featuring and the others. Let's select that. Let's make that keyboard medium. And then reduce the size a whole lot more. Still finding a sweet spot. Okay, 17 is looking sweet. So we can make this 18 or increase it more to 20. So yes, good, lovely. So featuring, I need you to be cap locks. So we can click this key to make it cap locks. So it becomes capital letter. And then you can change it to bold. So we know that's what you're talking about. So alignment, that was another problem of that design. There was no alignment. Everything was just mumbled around with zero alignment. Let me bring it up once again. Come on, see. Put it on the page. You can see, let me increase the opacity back. There is no alignment, no single alignment. So we need to work on that, really. We need to really work on that. The alignment is really hurting my eyes. In fact, the text is rotated, it's angled, if you noticed, which is not good, which is not good for this work. So we have ICO and IEO, which is also another information. So you can see that we are having some issues here. So we're going to resolve that. Obviously, we'll have to resolve that if our design is to look good. So one way to do that is firstly to reduce the size. Remember, this is going to be printed. It's going to be printed and it's also be shared on social media. So I would advise you don't go too small in size. You also don't go too big in size. So let's take this down. Yes. Yes, yes. Remember, we can always edit this and take it back if we want. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense to me. So now you notice I've created a negative space between these two objects, and it's not balanced again in my eyes. I'm not seeing a balance. I need a balance. So now look at this is not balanced with this balance. Well, I'm just seeing so many balance. But anyways, I'm just going to take this down a bit, and you can see it's making more sense now. It's looking totally good, totally lovely. So I'm going to work on that ICO and IO because I think it's a heading. So let's give it some boldness. Ooh, we just have two regular of this font. I have no idea. But anyways, We can increase the font size. Yes, 20 looks like a very sweet spot for me. So I like that. ICO and the likes. So what if we want to retain the bullet feel? We can do that. So I'm going to tap this twice to each. We are inching closer to our what we ran away from. But anyways, that's totally fine. We can always even reduce the size of that. So the reason why I'm using the bullets, why it's necessary, is because you notice that this is not two different lines. Like this is a continuation of this line. So bullets will help drive that point. Remember, your design is meant to convey information easily. Easily. That's the key word. So what I will do here is simply, I'm just going to draw my own shape. So maybe let's use a circle bullet. I'm holding down, look at it, I'm holding down shift so that it stays a perfect circle. If I remove my hand from shift, watch what will happen. It becomes an oval shape. So please take note of that shift. So we're going to make it small. We don't need it too shouty. Okay, so I like that color. It works because that color is consistent with what we have been having in the design. So that's one bullet. So I just want to duplicate this. To duplicate easily, you just carry a layer, drag it into the new layer symbol, and then you have a copy of it. So I can just take that down easily, and then do it again for the last point. And look at that. That's lovely. I like what I'm getting. So they know it's 3 points now. It's not 4 points. Like I said, that's the essence of design. What I can do is also give this side, take this one back a bit, and give it a small space. So it looks like a paragraph. But who knows? Do I want to do that? Maybe I like it that way. Well, let's leave it like this. I think I like it like this. So join us on Telegram. I'm gonna make that Avene steel, so it stays consistently lovely. Wow, I like the look of that. Let's make it big. There's emphasis there. So 24, too big. 22, okay, workable. So I'm going to increase the leading to around 22 still. Okay, 22 is too small. Let's do 25. Lovely. So remember our alignments. We don't play with our alignments. Now the good thing about the new Creative Cloud is that it gives you guides so you can easily work. So we don't need to constrain ourselves. We can take all this up. So we'll just select what we've been working with till the first layer. I'll hold down shift, select what I want first, hold down shift, select the last thing. So you see, select everything. So I do a Control T to transform everything at once, and then I drag it all up. So it's on this center line now. That looks lovely for me. So I can take it down a bit because I want lots of negative space at the top. So your eyes can always go back there to rest. Remember, your design needs to breathe. So I need somewhere where your eyes can always go back to rest. So I'm going to reduce this, like I said. Reduce it, take it up, reduce it. Doesn't need to compete for attention. It's basically a background. So lovely. So or let's make it bigger a bit. Yes. So let it interact with our text. Okay, so I like that. And so let me just take it down. Good. Good. So black and white. In fact, I even feel this is way. If they give me this and they give me this, I prefer to come for this than this. without, this is pure black and white, trust me. So now let's start stylizing this thing. Remember I downloaded some pictures, Bitcoin and likes. Let's go to that. So I got this Bitcoin picture. We've used this Bitcoin logo. Okay, lovely. Let's pick this command copy. So paste it here, command V. So how do we put this in design? Do we just drop it somewhere? You know. Okay, lovely. I can use this B to replace this B, and then it will look lovely. Let's try that out. Remember, I'm using Ctrl Plus to zoom. Lovely. So this is gonna make a whole lot of sense. So all I need to do is backspace the B, the original B. Lovely. I can reduce, if this is too far apart, I can always reduce the leading, or let's just say leading, sorry, tracking. So it comes closer. Good. I'm liking what I see. So that's Bitcoin. So I can make the eye, the whole Bitcoin, that color. So let's give it this color, lovely. Okay, then I make the eye white. Take it in more, or no, make the B bigger. That makes more sense. You select what you want to click, or you just go over there and select it. So me, I'm clicking it over here. Command T, I'm going to make it bigger. Yes, so it envelopes the eye. Totally. That makes sense to me. I like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just, after zooming this thing, this masterclass looks too distant from the other elements. So I'm just going to take it in a bit. So that looks more cleaner to me. So, oh, lovely. I'm liking this. So let's go ahead and do some more stuff. Yes, we had another picture, this coin. So I'm going to do command click, command copy. I'm going to paste it, command V. Okay. I don't like transparency, so don't even think I'm going to transparent it or feed it into the background. No. So what I like doing with most of this picture, I can use to give a texture to this heading you are seeing, so it looks more rich. So what I can do is to give it an overlay. So watch this overlay, blend mode. I talked about this earlier. You see, it adds this rich texture to the text, and I like it. I'm loving it. So we can work with that, but that's not only that's not our only option. There's a whole lot of things we can do too. So okay, something is coming to my mind. I can give these guys color so that the effects will show on them. So I already have some colors on my screen, so let's work with that. Let's use this dark color for the top, and then use the lighter color for the bottom. So that's some hierarchy there. Okay, good. Now you can see there is some leaking here from our image. So what I like to do is to create a clipping mask. So I'll group all my objects. Remember these two objects, I can make them visible or not, are what makes up my heading. So I'm going to select both of them and put them in a group. I'm dragging it. See, I dragged it into the group icon. See, it now shows group 1. So I can call that heading. So I can always remember that that's where it is. So I can now select this. Let me remove it and put it in normal back. Normal. Put it where I want it to be exactly. So I can zoom it more or increase the size more. And I will now right click and say create clipping mask. So it clips over our image, but I don't like the color of it. So remember we were saying we're going to use what? Overlay. So we have that there. So what we can also do is duplicate it. It gives it more richness. So it's like it's doubling the effect of that overlay. If you triple it, you will get almost red. See how much we can go. So there's a whole lot of things we can do. So there is that feel of cryptocurrency within the background, of which I like that. I'm buying that. So what next? Let's add the other elements. We have someone's face. We have sponsors. I think they had. I'm going to delete one of this. I think I like yes the lighter color. I prefer the lighter color better. And you can always move it. Command T, transfer, in case you've not gotten your spots. Okay, so I like that pattern coming out there. Good. Yes, I like this. So that makes sense. So I also have another background I was looking at. The first artboard. Some nice shape. Still from p3pic.com. So please go over there. Now see, note something. Command plus. So you see, I can Control A to select everything. You see, it has selected. This is what it means to select. You see, there'll be some things that look like they are moving around the object. Or I can Command D to deselect, or press Command or Control on your Windows and click on the icon. So now you see it's selected just the pixels that have elements in it. So there's a difference between those two. I just wanted to point that out. So Command select. So let's do Command A. I'm copying everything. Command copy, Control copy if you're on Windows, and then come back to our stuff. Control V to paste. It's very large, like I said. So we are going to reduce it. I'm holding down Shift in my reduction so that the thing does not stretch, so that the image does not stretch. So when you hold down Shift, it retains the glory. So we're going to zoom in back. There's a conflict. You can take it over to the side, or even take it this way. Okay, so I like that. We're just going to take it behind. It's going to go to, we're going to drag it all the way down so it's behind our text. So lovely. I'm liking what I'm seeing. So I don't have pictures. So let me just pull up a picture of myself. I should have one here. Okay, this one works fine. I have this one here. So let's use I'm the host of the program. Let's see, reduce it a bit. I need it to be in a circle, so I can draw a circle. I like drawing a circle to make my life easier. So watch this. This is what I always do. Always. So I can do that. Then I want to give it a border. That would make sense, right? So I can duplicate it, or I'll just go and stroke it over there. But I don't want to stroke it. I want to just duplicate it. So the one behind obviously will be the border. So I can give it another color, or let's leave it first. Let's make the smaller one inside white. So we can reduce it. Command T to transform, and then reduce. You hold Shift to reduce. You see it's reducing to one angle, but if you want it to reduce from both sides, you hold alternate. Isn't that lovely? So it's reducing from both sides. So your circles are centered. So that makes sense. I like that. So I'm now going to bring my image, just put it maybe in between the two of them, sandwich it there. Then I'll Command select the smaller circle, then click on my picture, then use it to create a clipping mask or a layer mask. Now I can go ahead and discard of this. Now you see I am right inside there, just staring at you or looking somewhere. I don't know where I'm looking at. What was I looking at on this picture? I don't even know myself. What was I doing? So anyways, you can drag the picture, do whatever you want, and rearrange it. So I'm going to do a quick rearrangement of the picture. So I'm going to undo that. So you can see what we are doing. I can reduce the opacity of this so that I can see through. Sorry. The opacity of the white image is what I want to reduce. So I can see exactly where my face is falling. And then I can adjust. Command deselect, please. So you have to deselect. So I can adjust. So I can reduce my picture a bit. So more of me can show. Good. So I think I would like the outcome of this. So same thing we did before. Command select the icon of the smaller circle, select the picture, and then create a layer mask. Then you can hide this. So that looks very lovely. That looks very lovely. So what you can also do, let me just use this to show you layer style. So the eclipse, I can double click. If you double click it, it will take you to layer style. So there's a lot of things you can do here. You can bevel and emboss, so it looks like a plastic. I don't like this. I'm not sure I've ever used this in my life. You can stroke it, like I told you, that's giving it a border. It's white now, so you can change the color so you can see what that is doing. But I don't want that, so I'm going to remove the stroke. Gradient is what I'm looking for, so I want to do a gradient. So you can see I've used this gradient before, and it looks good. I got the gradient from this background because I've used this background for something before. So what I did was just to select. You will not have this on yours, so you just click on this. You select the stop, the first stop. Select this, so it will ask you what color you want. You can choose any color in this life. See, so that even looks good. You can choose this dark color. So what I did was to pick a small color here, the brightest color I can get here. So that gave me that. I clicked OK. Then click the other stop. Click the color. And then click the greenest spots I can get here. So it gives me a lovely gradient. And that is that. Okay, lovely. So normally yours would be at maybe default at 90 degrees. So I rotated mine to 45 degrees. You can type it in if you want to. But I think I'm just a bit lazy right now. 45 degrees. You can change the style. You have radial. You have, you have angle. There's a whole lot it's doing behind. So when you play around, you see that you can do reflected, but let's leave it at linear. I like linear. You can do a blend mode on the overlay. You can change the opacity. So I'll leave that for you to play with and see how it works well for you. So that makes sense. That looks good. I'm just going to click OK. So I'm good with my picture. So what I do is that I'm going to group all this as one. So I can delete this. I'm not using it again. So I'll just group both the border and my picture as one. So you see, if it's gradient, say there's a gradient overlay there. So I can minimize that so it doesn't take much space. So I group it together. So this makes it, I can call it picture, picked one, and then I can transform that. So now you notice that because I did a clipping mask, it still recognizes that my picture is a square right there. So if you don't want that to happen, there's something you can do, which is simply to just, when you are done transforming, press enter. Don't press escape. If you press escape, it will cancel everything you are doing. You can just simply go and right click on the layer mask and click apply layer mask. Now the reason the apply is not activated here is because I'm dealing with a smart object. Remember I told you if you drag and drop into the Photoshop, you will be getting a smart object. And smart objects, this is the way you edit smart object. You have to double click on them. It will open a new document so you can edit it specially. And it is very useful because why? It does not destroy the picture. So any edit I'm doing here does not destroy the picture. I can simply just double click if I want to do an edit. Maybe I want to remove a pimple from my face or do something else. I can do any of that right here. And when I'm done editing that, I just press Command S, that's Control S, to save it so that it will reflect on the other documents that I'm working on. So that makes sense totally. So okay, let's rasterize this so that you see the effects. Rasterize layer. So it's no more a smart object again. If you double click it, nothing. It's going to just bring that layer style basically. So it's not going to take it. It's no more a smart object. So now watch something. Command T. You see, it's giving us a square that is still recognizing that my picture is full. But watch what will happen when I say right click, apply layer mask. Now that my picture is no longer a square, but exactly the circle. So I'm going to do that Command T, transform. You see, it is no more selecting that large square, of which is the whole picture, but now just selecting the small picture. Now, the reason why you might want to do this is because files can get really large in Photoshop very easily. You can be designing doing one design and it can quickly escalate and get up to 500 MB, 1 point something gig. But for a small design like this, you should not be wasting your storage space. So it's better to just rasterize and then apply your layer mask if you know you are done with editing that picture. So you should do something like that. So now that picture obviously is too big. I'm not advertising myself, I'm advertising the class. So obviously there can be situations where the person will want to advertise himself. So I can put it here, right here. Remember there are two speakers. So we need to create space for that. So I'm just going to duplicate. I'm the one speaking twice for the program. So that's me. That's how I roll. So you can put it directly under. You can select both of them. And then now we'll take it up a bit. Let's see. So now I'm trying to create a balance where things are not bleeding too much into the corners. Like you don't want this to go all the way to the side, because after printing most times you see they want to trim the edges. They can trim off some content. So you want to avoid the corners as much as possible in your design, except you really want it to be trimmed. Like now, I want this to bleed and be trimmed. So that's why you see I'm doing this way. So I need it to be trimmed. So it works for me that way. But otherwise, avoid the corners. So there was a name plate. I will just use a simple rounded rectangle for that. So I can create that like that. That looks good. I can give it a darker color. And we already have a darker color on board, right? Remember. So to double click to change the color, I'll just click this dark color here. So it becomes that dark color. And I love it. It makes sense. It looks good. Then double click again. I duplicate rather, not double click. Duplicate it, take it down for the next name. And put it down there. So obviously you see it's touching my content. So what I can do is either reduce the content all the same. So I'll just go back to my ICO and IEO and make sure I select, all these ellipses are our bullets. So select everything together. I'll just make it a group. So ICO, and then I can transform that a bit, make it smaller. So that looks good for me. I can totally work with that. So you don't want to also make it too small, remember, because you are definitely going to print this. Someone is going to need to read it. So let's undo that and let's see how much more we can get. We can always reduce the picture. Control C. Okay. So I like that. So also always remember we're avoiding the edges. So you don't want to do anything too out of the way. So I'm just going to select everything I have so far from the beginning to the heading. I'm using shift to select all the way to that area. So I'm just going to give it everything come back a bit. Yes, so there's that space. So we are still avoiding the edge, like I said. So the design is coming up. Sometimes I even feel I can do without this, so I'll have more white space for breathing. But let's just leave that for now. So join us on Telegram. It's too dark, it's too black, so I don't like all the way black for that. So it's shouting too much. What I do is I can reduce the percentage of the blackness that's turned into a gray. I can also reduce the size. Let's see what a 20 will look like. Okay, so 20 looks better. So I can also reduce the leading to like 24. But so there's that closeness, there's that relationship. So the nameplate Yegas. Okay, so it's not showing because it's all the way down. So let me just do myself good by bringing it up and typing UYIEGHAS and then call that president. Yes, I'm gonna be the president. I'm gonna be the president. So that's president, and that's obviously too large. So we want to reduce that as much as we can. So we can do 10. Sorry. So plus, I'm going to take this up. Obviously, we need to make it white so we can see exactly what we are doing. So this nameplate I feel is too short to contain the two text codes. So that looks good. I like that. So Uyegas. I can reduce the normal name so the Gas is bold, though it's not showing. So I can change the font. Let's go back to our cable medium. So you can go ahead and select the Gas and make it bold. So they know, okay, that is the surname and he is the president. So let's bring in our president into the picture. Let's make that a size 9. Lovely. So you see, it's all coming together at the end of the day. It's how design is meant to be done. I think it's meant to look good. It's meant to interest someone. It's meant to call someone. It's meant to send a message at the end of the day. And if your design is not achieving that, then you have to change something. So I'm going to change this to center. Why? You say our alignment we have using left since, but this is following another alignment rule. So we can make that obey that. This is following a center alignment rule. So I like to center that properly. Let the center, select the square. I'm going to reduce it a bit. I'm holding shift so that it will reduce from this side and then adding alternate so that I can reduce from both sides. So that makes more sense. So since it's the same me, I'm just going to duplicate. I'll delete the former rectangle at the bottom. Just duplicate this plaque I can group it first, as usual, call it a name, then duplicate, then now have a name copy. I can transform this all the way down. Now it makes more sense. So over here, I would like to be the governor. Governor. So there you have that. It's coming out. Come on. Should I go back to the other picture? This versus this. Which are you attending? Ask yourself. Come on, answer that. You know the answer already. So, but anyways, let's add sponsors. I'm seeing sponsors over there. We have 3 sponsors. Is there anything we are missing? Stock in lockdown. Oh, sorry, I'm not adding that. I'm not adding that. You can always add that in the copy. You can type that when you are posting it to social media. So we've always been using shape to draw shape. I want to show you how to use a select tool to draw a shape. That's why the select tool is very important. Now I'm going to select from the end all the way up, somewhere like here. Looks good. Selected. So now I'll click new layer to create a new layer. So I want to go back to my background. I want this to be on top of my background's image. So this is my background image. I'm going to put new layer, create new layer. So now you see that's created a new layer. I can change the color to maybe this dark gray. I like this one. And do, now you see it's the foreground. I'm going to do alternate delete. It automatically fills that location, the select location, with the color you selected. So I can deselect, control, deselect. Now you see that's a layer on its own. We can unhide it. It's another way to draw a shape. But the disadvantage is it is raster. It is not vector. Remember, anything you draw, in fact, anything within this section from pen tool all the way down to the rectangle tool, they are all vectors. They are all vectors. So even if we don't like this color, remember we can always go double click, turn to layer style. You can do a color overlay and select any color you like. If you want to use this dark color from before, nobody's stopping you. If you want to use this dark red, I am going to stop you. So just depends on what you want. I like the gray I chose before. I like gray in my designs. So I'm going to use that. I want to write sponsored by down there. So I'm still going to follow my alignment. Trust me. Sponsored. Oh, so that's showing behind the layer. So that's why that's happening. Or rather, that's showing because the color of the text is the same color as the background. So let's make it white. Sorry. So we can type directly now. So sponsored by let's do a column. Let's do a column. Sponsored by. So we're going to increase that. Obviously, let's do 12. So I like that. So I like the fonts. That's my Cable medium. You kind of bring everything together at the end of the day. After starting with your Cable, you went to Aveni, and now you are closing it up again with Cable. Come on, that's some philosophy. So sponsored by. Okay, I'm still gonna be the sponsor. So let's use my logo, Creative Designs, open. So Creative should be open, and I have my banner here. So I can copy this. Command A to select all, copy, and then I can paste that. That's untitled. Command V. So that's also large in some way. I made it very small. So remember, avoid corners. They are going to trim that bottom if it's going to be printed. So you don't want your sponsor's name being trimmed off from what he sponsored. So that's one. What I can also do, so let's go ahead and put it. Okay, so there you are. Um, Sponsored by, take it up a bit, so it looks centered. So since the background is dark, I think it will make sense if the logo is white. So you just do a command select, watch this part very well. Command select the icon. Now I'm going to zoom in so you can see some details. Now I'm going to use this tool. I want to separate this golden design. I want to make just the black to be white. So watch this. I'm going to hold down alternate. Are you seeing a minus sign just added? If I press shift, a plus sign, so shift plus, it adds that to the selection. Just undo that. Then minus, alternate, using alternate to minus, I'm going to select designs away. So now we have just Protiv and the logo selected. So what we need to do is you can just fill it with you can just fill it straight up with your white color. And to do that, I told you before, alternate, delete, it becomes white. So that makes sense. So what you can do, maybe it's not looking too bold, of which I will not advise. You can okay, let's do it. I just duplicated it already. So I'm going to select the front one, delete the designs, delete. So it's no more there. Remember, I duplicated it now. So let's remove the background and see that the design is not there. So I can stroke this one with white. That stroke is obviously too much. It's white, 1 pixel. If you want to do that, maybe it's not bold enough. Put it outside. Okay. So that is what you can also do. So remember, it's looking all bad. What you can do is select everything. Come on, select, sorry. You can add a color overlay. That will blend it better. So just do color overlay, do white. So it looks better that way. So it looks clearer that way. So you can do that. So that's one sponsor. So one of the other sponsor that was mentioned there, SenseWords, I did their logo. I also did the logo for Afro Crypto Track. I didn't do the logo for Picnic Life. So that's why I saw this post. I followed them. So I'm going to import their logos. File, open, SenseWords is here. SenseWords. Okay, so this is what I want. PNG. Yes, so this is just the logo. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it also there. I can close this too. I'm not using them anymore. Transform as usual and reduce, take it all the way down. So we have 2 sponsors now. You can press V. Instead of you going all the way to select your pick 2 to pixel 2, just press V. That's the shortcut for pick 2. So SenseWords is there now. Obviously that text is going to be so small you won't be able to read it, and there's no need for you to make it big for someone to read it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So Let's go to also another person. Open. Let's do documents. Free crypto tracks. So okay, so we have one here. So this is the logo. This one has a white background, and ooh, no name, just the logo. So let's back off from this. File open. Let's copy the one with name. Yeah, I know there's one with name. So that's it. This one works. So I'm going to select again. So now you notice the others before did not have background. This one has a background. So what do? We can delete the background. Simply go to your magic wand tool. Now watch what will happen if I select contiguous and I did not select contiguous. If I select this without contiguous, you see the space between the O and the P, the arrow, all this space inside, they are not selected. So if I delete, they are still white. They are basically still white there. So I can deselect, you see, the white is still there. So what you can do is to turn off contiguous and select. So control deselect, to you deselect first before you select again. So now you see selecting both the spaces in between the arrow, the A and everything. This is an easy way to get rid of backgrounds that is the same color. It has to be the same color, please. So delete, so that goes off. So I can now copy my logo. I can do Command A, copy. Command A is to select, or Control A. Let me zoom down. Control V. We have our logo. And reduce all the way, and then paste it there. Remember, we are avoiding corners and we are aligning. It has to obey the alignment. So you see, it was giving us the line. So that is the alignment line. So let's obey it. So let's obey it. So I think this background, it's we need to let's darken it and see what we get, and let's brighten it and see what we get. Remember, we can do that and see it in real time. So this logo looks too big in comparison to the others. So that makes sense now. So what else? This color, layer style, color overlay. So let's play a bit. Obviously, we can't use white. We can use white though, but everything is already so white. Why stick with white? So let's try this dark color. Brings it out, right? Makes it pop. Let's try a lighter gray. It's making it too faint. Let's see all the way dark. Let's look at the design as a whole. Move this out of the way. So I prefer the vibe of this. It's more okay. There are two different hues. Oh, okay. So I prefer the darker one. It looks better. So I'm gonna press OK, OK, and come on, we have something lovely. We have something workable. So I will just pull up the QR code for my masterclass and just put it out there. Let's just assume that QR code was meant for this class. For people that want to scan, we can just put that there. Make it more tech since we're already doing tech. And there you have it. There you have it. This is the defining moment. So now let's go back and see what we started from and where we are now. So this is what we saw. We came, we overcame, and we conquered. And this is what we have now. So we're done. So how do we get this saved? Quite easy. So you go to File, you do Save As, and then you can save it basically anywhere. You can save it on your documents, SW Demi, it's saved in PSD format. This is a Photoshop document format. So you can go ahead and click save. So maximize compatibility, yes, please let this be clicked so that it will be compatible with other versions of Photoshop. Then okay, so it saves, that has been saved, that's nice. So what you can also do, you want to show your clients, but what you don't want to send the PSD version to your clients. It's going to be very large, first of all, and then it's intellectual property. It's something you should own. So accept the client's request for it, and it is covered in your agreement that you're going to give that to him. So what you can do is export it as a picture. So you do save as, and then go here and click JPG to save in JPEG format, or PNG to save in PNG format as portable network graphics, or TIFF. TIFF is good for printing because you don't lose quality. I think those are the three basic formats, or a Photoshop PDF. So any of those will definitely work. Depend on what you are using, but basically the easiest are obviously JPEG, JPG, and PNG. Please take notes, it's JPEG, not JPEG 2000. You're using this JPEG, the first one. So if you save that, hit your save button. It's going to ask you what you want. So I feel you should just leave this at a very high quality so that the picture quality is not reduced. That's 1.5 megabytes. You can click preview so that it shows you what it looks like in real time and gives you the size. So maximum, that's good. Baseline, leave it here. Standard, that's what it should be at. So click OK. It saves. That's all. So when you pull up and go to documents, it should be down there waiting for you. So this is the Photoshop file we just saved, and then this is the JPEG file. So that makes sense. So thank you very much. I think this is it. So I think we've done a very, very good job. This class is just over 1 hour. So please do well to follow properly all the steps. If you have questions, please leave comments or ask me questions in the Masterclass group chat. If you are able to pull this off, give me something. I'll definitely really appreciate. So you can send in your designs, or you can upload it on Instagram and tag Protive Designs. Just at Protive Designs, we would see it. So I'll give you a like, I'll give you a thumbs up. So thank you very much. Thank you for having me around. Thank you for watching the video to the end. I'll see you next time.